All right, back at you on a late Saturday night, guys. You know why? We cannot go a day without talking about OU softball. So we're back at you again, talking some Sooner softball. Before we get started, hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on, hit that like button, and comment on this video as we're going to ask you some questions here in a little bit to comment on. But guys, wanted to talk about tonight. I know it's a few days kind of away from when Kelly Maxwell transferred. But we've all read the article from Jenny Carlson. We've all seen the stuff on Twitter about the evil empire, as she called it, OU softball, the evil empire with Patty Gasso. And if you've read the article, anybody watching, I don't think it's a bash at OU at all. I know a lot of people on Twitter have kind of like remarked that it could be like it was bashing OU. I didn't read it that way. I read it as basically everybody hates it. It's OU against the world, baby. And that's, you know what? Bring it on. Patty Gassel will say the same thing. Bring it on. I'm going to win another natty anyway.
Bring it on like Donkey Kong.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely not shocked on the reactions to the Kelly Maxwell transfer. We know last year, just in the transfers that OU got, Alex Storako, Sydney Sanders, like there was a lot of reactions, fan bases on Twitter, Florida State in particular, very upset. There was that argument that it's not good for the sport. I know there was a kind of a movement that OU softball needs to kind of be I don't know if it was like outlawed or what because of the drop off in talent from OU against the field. But I mean, what can you expect? OU's won are on the longest winning streak in softball history. Like when that's going on and the age of the transfer portal now, they're going to be able to get the best women in college softball in as graduate transfers or just as transfers in general.
Yeah, and I think now for Oklahoma starting to be compared to the Chicago Bulls dynasty or what Pat Summitt did with Tennessee women's basketball or what UConn did with Gino Oriama. I mean, there's just a lot that's been done there. So for them to have those comparisons, they are constantly getting up to the top, becoming one of the greatest dynasties ever in all of sports. And why would you not want to come to Oklahoma and play for that chance, not only to win a national championship, but to build your own personal brand, as you know, with this new softball pro league that's growing with the Oklahoma City Spark and those other teams. So it's just why not take the opportunity to come to Oklahoma and compete and grow yourself.
And it's also, I know a viewer pointed this out a couple pods ago, I think. These girls are also coming to OU for other reasons besides softball winning national championships. It's the culture. The faith has played a huge part in it, right? You know, go to a light place. The evil empire is dark, but there's a whole lot of light there in Norman, Oklahoma with Patty Gasso and the culture that she's brought and the faith belief that they have, strong faith message that they're sharing. So, yeah, call it the evil empire, whatever you want to call it. But as Kenzie Hansen responded, she'll gladly be in that empire.
Yeah, and the difference, y'all mentioned UConn, you mentioned Tennessee and all that. Here's the difference. That was before the portal, guys. That was pre-portal, and the only you could compare it because anybody that was any good in the top recruits were going to UConn and were going to Tennessee, just like they are in OU softball. But here's the thing: if you can't beat them, one, either join them, or two, I don't understand this. I really don't understand why these other softball teams are not building super teams to try to beat OU. And I thought we might see it this year in the portal when Vaughter was in there, and I thought a couple of the pitchers, I thought they might go team up and go try to go to one school and just try to win a natty against OU. Because if I'm not at OU and I'm a softball athlete, you know what I'm going to do? I would do my best to try to knock them off the pedestal, knock them off the empire. And to me, too many of these teams are worried about OU winning instead of just going out there and let's step up to the plate and beat them. That's what needs to happen is somebody actually beat this team, and then they can start talking a little bit. But somebody's got to beat them first.
Yeah, and Kelly Maxwell is the most recent. You know, there's been talk about how she just didn't love the game as much. a lot of stressful situations, maybe that she was in and things. But there's no better place to be at than surrounded by the group of family feeling and just athletes that are there in Norman. And you're right, Jay. Can't beat them, join them. And if you don't want to join them, then try to beat them. But we're not going to see anyone beat this team next year for sure. No one's beating this team.
They're going undefeated.
What?
They're going to go undefeated?
I mean, that's the expectation. It was
Wait, did we
That's
just get the prediction that they're going to have the longest win streak in all of sports history?
Hey, Jay, let me ask you this. Okay, as you would say, most notably. They lost one game last year. We were talking on the pod, Braden, all of us were talking. This team could go undefeated. Then when they lost the one game and they started rolling again, there was talk of this team might not get scored on. They may run rule everyone.
That's my point.
Hey, I think next year's team is better than this year's team.
I kind of like what Jeremy's saying on that. Last year, we heard a lot about the pressure of the streak. Jordy Ball was one of them. There was just so much pressure on this team to win, and I think for this coming year, it's different. They got 6 pitchers now that are high end starters, and so that pressure aspect is going to be a little different than it was last year.
For sure. And go ahead, Jackson.
Well, I was going to say, I think I've also said that before, is what Hunter just said, but the pressure can amount to so much, and them having that weight off their shoulders now is so important, because not only can it allow them to just settle in more to their culture with Patty Gasso, with the faith-based stuff, with the team-building activities, all the stuff they do. And now I just think that we're going to see an Oklahoma team that is going to go out there and still be a motivated team to play. And honestly, I would not be shocked if they get up to a 100-win streak. I would not. Just because of
that is, to me, is just I
Did you
don't know.
look at what this pitching staff has? I don't see any team being able to score 3 or 4 runs off of.
Yeah, but here's the deal. And, hey, Braden, you're being awful quiet up there. What do you got?
I mean, we got 6 pitchers. I mean,
They won't pitch all 6.
They're not. I know they're not going to pitch all 6. Just let me talk real quick.
Okay.
You can't hit off May. You can't hit off Maxwell. And you can't hit off Dill. We're loaded right there with all the other pitchers.
And they're going to score tons of runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the win streak's definitely a possibility. Yes, but like last year, they lost to Baylor. They had that one off game offensively that they just weren't able to, at the end, get it done in late innings. So, I mean, it's to say that the expectation is an undefeated season, especially in the early.
That's unreal.
Last year, it was early into the season. I don't know the exact number on the game, but at that early point in the season, there's so many more games being played compared to when you kind of get to the conference play. It kind of slows down a little bit there. I just think that there's always that chance of stumbling early on.
Hey, I got a couple questions for our viewers here. One, do you agree OU the evil empire? 2, how many games will this team win in a row? I would love your opinions of what you think. What will their win streak get to? Love to hear that. But one thing I want to say is, we've talked about Patty Gasso. She wins natties. That's what Patty does. She wins natties. But I think what goes kind of unnoticed with her is we've seen it in other sports. We've seen people get dominant teams and they get all the star players and then they can't coach it. It's too much. The playing time, what kind of the chemistry. Yeah. She does not have an issue with that ever. And that to me is one of her greatest characteristics as a coach is she takes all these different personalities, even the transfers that come in, haven't been with the team. Okay, they mesh, and it's like they played together for 10 years. That is, I think, very unnoticed from Patty Gasso. Not all coaches can do what she does.
She's the GOAT.
Yeah. Hey,
she's the GOAT.
There's Braden. Are you getting ready to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say we're loaded for pitchers now.
Pitchers and hitters.
Pitchers and hitters, yeah.
Hey,
They're
Jay,
Yeah.
you did bring up exactly what I was going to talk about with Patty Gasso. There's other things too. Last year was the first time I really heard Patty Gasso say, after they won it all, how much just pressure that was on them. She obviously did not show that to the team. I mean, she was a great leader through it all. Of course I think she's very select though in who she brings in from the portal. I think she does her homework very meticulously. But the other thing we have to talk about is she lost arguably the best player in college softball last year, and the way she handled it was unbelievable. The way they handled every person that left the university, there was nothing negative said about any of them. Again, her credibility, her culture, it just keeps. How do you keep going up the ladder and showing how professional you are? She continues to do it. There's no one like her, guys.
Hey,
And
if we're talking Star Wars, is she Yoda?
Gotta be.
Well, yeah, it gotta be, bro.
She's GOAT.
And then I also think that OU has adapted in such a way to embrace the hate as well. That's also why they're maybe being compared to this. They're not really being compared to this evil empire, I would say, but like the whole country wants Oklahoma to lose now. Like everyone's rooting against Oklahoma, and I think it was Jay you said earlier that why has no softball team gone out and try to build a super team to beat Oklahoma? Because I'll be honest, I don't think anyone has the confidence they can do it until it gets done.
I think the big part of it is I don't think there's any like coaching staff that could really even, if they did build that team, like get them to mesh to be able to defeat OU. Like Jay said, it's just, and Jeremy as well, the way Patty Gasso has built the program where it's constantly improving and adapting to all the changes it goes through. It's impressive, and she's definitely should be thrown into that conversation as possibly the greatest coach of all sports of all time. Like,
Well,
she's done at OU over her tenure there.
I agree. And another thing is like you said, she's adapting and changing. She's always, and you look at anybody who runs a successful business or whatever, a coach or whatever, they are always a little bit ahead of everybody else on what they're doing. And perfect example is Patty Gasso. Just even the last few years, she changes her lineup almost daily in the batting order. That's not easy done. This year, what you're going to see, I'm telling you, with all these pitchers, you're going to see there may be games 4 pitchers pitch because she's going to next time around the order, she got a new pitcher to throw out there. I think she's always looking how to change the game and make it their team better, and that is the quality of a great coach.
There's a term for that in leadership. It's called a visionary. She is a visionary, so much so that, I mean, this evil empire, guys, they have a new home field. The excitement level, it's not just that they won many titles back to back, whatever. They have a new stadium. She knew this ahead of time. She saw that ahead of time. She's a visionary. She's the best.
Are y'all Star Wars fans?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. Okay, if you are, tell me where is like. Okay, so they're building Love Field. So what would you call that? If that's the evil empire, where was the galaxy? What is that called? Star Wars.
What?
What?
Huh?
What is like the evil galaxy called in Star Wars?
The evil empire.
The evil empire.
But they don't have a name for the land or anything or wherever.
Color.
Yeah, they have a ship.
I don't
called
know. I'm just
Death
trying to
Star.
give a comparison. We
Are you-
call Love Field.
Jay, are you saying it's going to be called Death Star Field?
Maybe that's what people start calling it. I don't know.
I guess maybe
It's-
Love just give up the rights to the stadium.
Hey, I got a good idea for a mantra underneath the Love sign. Love Stadium, Love's Field. May the faith be with you.
That's good.
Oh, there you go. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Anything else from anybody tonight? Hey,
Guys,
we
the
gotta
US
talk
women's
about the
softball-
world
U.S.
softball
women's
field.
softball team.
Yeah, so they won yesterday, extra innings. Just wanted to talk about some of the OU players. Kenzie Hansen 1 for 5. Avery Hodge she was 0 for 0, didn't really get an opportunity. But Sydney Sanders had a pinch hit single, so they didn't get a whole lot of production. But we'll see tomorrow night to play again. Kennedy actually started for the USA. I think had 5 really good innings and then kind of allowed like 5 runs, I believe, after that. So
Yeah, I'm impressed with Team Japan there.
dude, they had the
5
back.
runs off of Kennedy. Like, wow. Like, We're talking about how dominant OU was, has been, and we might have that second. No, it wasn't 5 runs at all off of her.
No.
Probably total in those 2 games, I think.
Hey, yeah. K9's Twitter game is great. I don't know if you saw her tweet about catching Kennedy greater than hitting against Kennedy. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
He's just so genuine, man.
I don't know if you guys saw it. Toby Rowland, I think he's at the Reds games this weekend. She's in the Reds Hall of Fame. Her picture, and
Yeah,
winning
it
the Sonny Bench Award this past year.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I guess that all means is that next offseason, Kennedy is going to transfer to OU, guys.
Hey, you never know. That's all I got to say is you never know, right?
Braden, you got any closing thoughts?
Not much, just Team USA. I mean, Hanson is playing well. Sanders.
Great
I hope
opportunity for them.
I hope
Great
Sanders and Hodge get some time because those are 2 girls that I expect to maybe play a lot larger role next year. So
Yes, sir.
All right, well, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, please, like I said, and leave your comments in the video. As always, guys, have a good evening. Talk to you next time. Boomer.
Boomer.